It is July 19. It is the House of Catte update, and in the week just past, it was quite the week. In no specific order, the highlight, low point, simultaneous event of the week was going to get a heart-lung stress test due to a number of challenging components of my last 30 years of life. The concern leading into this was that I had some degree of lung problem. Turns out I'm bad at breathing, but there's a lung physio. This is a specific class of person who teaches you how to breathe, and more importantly teaches you how to breathe properly, who I've been training with, and the stress test of, to start with, getting up early in the morning, showing up at a clinic, being stuck on a bicycle with a nose peg on, breathing out my mouth, with a whole bunch of heart rate monitors and things taking place. And the good news is there is no underlying heart problem, there's no underlying lung problem, and for a moderately fit old man, I did pretty well before basically the body said enough and no further. So that was the good news. I have no, the lung physio is working, I'm getting better at breathing, I have no underlying health condition, which is a super useful thing to find out, particularly because I had stopped training recently as I was sort of wanting the clarification before I went back into it. We're now in the last time I spoke, I had just sent off a book proposal. It bounced back from the publisher because the publisher is no longer doing that type of book. Yay! Consolidation of the market. There are now 3 to 5 academic publishers left in the world. And we're on to publisher number 2 of the available 5. So proposal for that's being worked on. Professionally, back at the work, doing a whole bunch of things. I might have mentioned that I'm now the voice of the Research School of Management and have just completed just had my voiceover for the Open Day PowerPoint accepted as is, no revisions, no changes. I was like, here is my first draft. And my manager, so we have a business development officer who is my wrangler, liaison manager, sent it through to our marketing team, the college's PR and sales team, and said, here's Stephen's presentation. Whereas I sent it to my manager saying, here's my draft presentation. The manager just relays it through and goes, done, presentation's ready. Sales comes back and basically says, sweet, we love it, we're going with it. I've rendered one in a light. Amy's got new colour schemes. We've got this dark PowerPoint, we've got a light PowerPoint, so I rendered one in each version and said, take your pick. We'll now see how that rolls up at the end. We're also now, it's Monday of O week, so I've been running pre-flight checks on my subject. I've done a little bit of tinkering with one of the... I'm hoping to get to the point that I can cognitively leave well enough alone on the subject and just roll it out as it is. But there was one more thing I wanted to try and mess around with on my pre-recorded slides, and that was bringing in an interactive element. So all the videos I've been doing over the last few years have all been to camera like this. And what I'm wanting to do, the step up from here, is to be able to create some form of dynamic response so that, a little survey thing pops up on the window here, you fill it out, and if you select A, it takes you to video 1, B, video 2, C, video 3. YouTube used to be able to do this years back, but they took it away because reasons, aka YouTube doesn't know how to YouTube. But specifically inside the classroom environment, it would be nice if there was some dynamic element I could bring into the pre-recorded class. On the other aspects of that is we're now at my week ahead is going to be working on my application for the ANU Vice-Chancellor's Teaching Award, because once you get nominated, that's what I absolutely love about my sector is when you get nominated for an award, that's a lot of work. It's not like, I don't know whether this happens in other areas, but I can just imagine if something like in the NRL, you get nominated for the Brownlow. So the Brownlow's the AFL, the Brownlow, the NRL, it's the Clive Churchill. You get nominated for a medal, best and fairest, and then you have to sit down and edit your way through all the football broadcasts of the season to present a little video package at the end showcasing why you were the best and or the fairest. I would personally have some bloke in a ref's uniform standing in front of a magic mirror saying, mirror, mirror on the wall. But shy of using the mirror, my task for this week is to try and consolidate the two conflicting... There's two really huge conflicting ideas in this proposal, or this award. The first is that you get nominated because you were successful in a subject. So last year, my e-marketing subject, run for the first time since 2016, huge positive response, nominated by my college. I come through into the playoffs. I'm now in the Vice-Chancellor's playoffs. And under the Vice-Chancellor's playoffs, the award, I now am talking about 3 to 5 years worth of backstory of things that took place as to why I'm an excellent educator. Whereas I was nominated on 12 weeks worth of fantastic performance. And now I've got a, well, hey there. Back in 2017, I was also great. Let me tell you about 2012. I was magic. It's a strange business because you actually get, when you get nominated, you get an invitation where you can decline the nomination, so you don't have to do all the paperwork that goes with it. And it's like, welcome to the red carpet. Welcome to the Oscars, where you have to you don't win an Oscar for that movie you're nominated in. You get into the Oscars playoff for Best Actress and then have to act your way through a dozen new scenes, live in real time, 3 takes maximum. It's weird, but it's just a weird gig. So that's the upcoming tasks ahead. In amongst all this, I've rebooted the other elements of my professional life. I've rebooted my research agenda, meeting with my colleague. We started working on 3D printed food. Our application came in 2019. We were awarded to kick off. We started our project in March 2020. Yeah. So basically, we've had less traction than Swamp Subaru in a mud pit. We've just, So today was the discussions to how do we get back in order, start using this grant, start to trying to refloat the boat and figure out how the hell we're going to make something out of this. But I now have a new phrase, which is, it was 3D printed food, it's now texture modified food. And courtesy of another bit of professional life work, one of my colleagues has asked me to be a reader for their students' PhD presentation. Students doing some awesome work, so this is a huge amount of fun. It's a lot of work, but huge fun. And in amongst it, I've now, this is the first time I've had to add nearly 20 words to Microsoft Word's dictionary over the course of one document. There was just so many new phrases that Word was like, are you sure? Are you sure this is a word? Yes, it is. Add. But I'm now, courtesy of Word trying to correct one of the, because it's an ethnology-based thing, one of the phrases was ethno-ontology. Word trying to correct that to and I'm staring at my whiteboard to be able to read this, ethno-ornithology, which meant I had to then look up what ethno-ornithology was, and it's the study of human-bird interaction. So I have now learnt both ethno-ontology, which ethnographic ontology, which is the understanding of ontological processes that are present within a community, rather than coming into the community and going, I know better than you do, I'm going to use my framework. But yes, ethno-ornithology is about the basically human-bird interaction, and there's a whole interesting lot of stuff that the entire world of research I had no idea even existed. I now found out because words could spell a word and thought I couldn't, or thought the person who wrote the document couldn't. And yeah, that's basically my life is now turning into an alternating sequence of having to look things up in Google to know what the hell's going on, and then looking things up in Google Scholar to find out whether someone else can explain it to me, and then finding that no one has actually coined this term yet, so add to the whiteboard of things I need to write up later. And a little bit later I will explain one of those projects, because it's still at the conceptual phase, but basically there was a discussion last week with a colleague about we're teachers and we're doing education stuff, and one of the education techniques is known as classroom assessment technique, but it's always shortened to Catte. And there was this discussion around how one of my colleagues wanted someone to do wanted a cat. So would the university buy me a cat? And this has started now a process of, can I convince a research funding agency or my university to pay for me to get a cat in the name of research? An actual little sort of furry goes meow cat as part of an ongoing research project. And given I am the guy who went to Legoland because I had a research project that enabled me to go to 3 Legolands, and I've got form in this area, and I've now decided that this is the thing I want to achieve. It is 2021. Realistically, at 2023, I will have 10-year timer left on my 10 to 15-year timer left on the clock. So between now and 2023, with a 15-year career timer left, as I turn 50 and I'm aiming to retire at 60 or 65, can I convince a funding agency and or a university to pay for me to adopt a cat and pay for that cat's upkeep in the name of research? I have a 2-year window to get the funding. So target is 2023, a university buys me a cat. Because my life is like this, and that's the way it is.